Everybody hates puns, right? Drop a pun into your water cooler conversations and you'll instantly become a social piranha. But a pun can be an incredibly useful way to load meaning into your writing. So how can you use a pun without making people roll their eyes?
Sometimes I sleep on the napkins when I get tired.
Is that why they're called napkins?
Not really, no.
Puns were not always underappreciated. As John Pollock points out in his book The Pun Also Rises, puns were respected as a form of high rhetoric in ancient Greece. There are also multitudes of puns in the Old Testament when you read it in the original Hebrew. And in the New Testament, Jesus says, "Thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church." The name Peter means rock.
For most of human history, the pun was a sign of intelligence, of wit, of insight, of wisdom.
During the Renaissance, which embraced classical ideas, puns were also very popular, and the major writers of the time used as many puns as they could think of.
Puns were just hugely popular. Lawyers punned, judges punned in their judgments, even condemned criminals would pun on the gallows to show that, hey, I'm not so low, I still have eloquence, I still have wit, I am a worthy human being.
But then the Enlightenment dawned, and while rationalism lit the way into the modern era, it was a dark time for punsters. Enlightenment thinkers believed that everything could be understood through observation and logic. So a branch of them came to regard language with all of its contradictions and ambiguities as something that was mossy. Puns, which essentially point out this messiness, started to fall out of favor. This is when the phrase "pardon the pun" started popping up. Even Samuel Johnson, the writer of the first dictionary, called them the lowest form of wit, which is ironic since he is now mostly known for being an internet meme.
What?
But the first thing you should know about writing puns is that they do not have to be funny. Consider the work of the world's greatest punster, William Shakespeare, who uses puns for many reasons other than comedy. For instance, he uses them for characterization by making his cleverest characters pun like their knives depended on it. Hamlet puns repeatedly as a way to rebel against his uncle without being punished.
And now, my cousin Hamlet, and my son, how is it that the clouds still hang on you?
Not so, my lord. I am too much in the sun.
In other words, he is uncomfortable with being called his uncle's son. The language offers him a loophole where he can be both insulting and respectful at the same time, while telling the audience how big his Denmark is. On the other hand, when Shakespeare's foolish characters pun, they do so unwittingly. Shortly after having his head turned into a donkey's in A Midsummer Night's Dream, Bottom starts making donkey-related puns accidentally.
Thou art changed. Do I see on thee?
What do you see? What, you see an ass head of your own, do you?
Sometimes, Shakespeare even uses puns for tragic purposes. After being stabbed in Romeo and Juliet, the usually jovial Mercutio says,
"'Twill serve. Ask for me tomorrow, and you shall find me a grave man."
But what if you do want to make your pun humorous? Well, then I'd build on the work of Arrested Development. This show puns like it's going out of syndication. The name of the show is a pun. Several characters' names are puns. And one character's only character trait is that he puns at the worst possible time.
How's my son?
He's going to be all right.
Oh,
thank God.
Finally, some good news.
There's
from
no
this
other way
guy.
to take that.
That's a great attitude. I gotta tell you, if I was getting this news, I don't know that I'd take it this well.
But you said he was all right.
Yes, he's lost his left hand, so he's going to be all right.
You son of a...
But one of the most brilliant ways the show uses puns is as foreshadowing. In one plotline, Buster wants to escape the control of his domineering mother, Lucille, but in doing so gets his hand eaten by a loose seal.
Lucille! Watch out for Lucille!
This event is heavily foreshadowed with puns that are only funny in hindsight.
And the hand chair! I had one in my room. I wonder where that went.
It went right there.
Well, I never thought I'd miss a hand so much.
Part of the reason people find puns distasteful is because they feel forced. People overemphasize the pun, which makes them hard to swallow.
It's not exactly healthy, but it's in a stack. So I guess you could say it's a balanced breakfast?
But when you hide puns in a story, then discovering them feels like finding buried pleasure. If, however, you want to use them for humor, the question to remember is, what is the punchline? Is this funny because of the wordplay, or is there another level to the humor? In Arrested Development, the joke is almost always on the characters themselves. We're laughing at how stupid they are, or how petty they are.
He showed me the watch you gave him.
The what? I appreciate your time.
Miscommunications based around puns also form the basis of a ton of conflicts and plot lines in the show. Like when Michael is worried that someone is going to break his brother's legs.
Tell him Rollo wants him to say goodbye to his legs.
But finds out that he is referring to the actress who plays the legs in Job's Saw a Woman in Half magic trick. The characters are constantly the victims of ambiguous language. And hey, you know what's always funny? Slapstick comedy. So why not use a pun as the setup?
Michael would have walked away forever, but he was struck by something he remembered from his childhood. You know,
but there is one place you are 100% allowed to pun and are even foolish not to. The title. In probably the most influential book on screenwriting ever, Shave the Cat, Blake Snyder writes that a movie idea should have some form of irony to it. The ironic twister is what stirs up the audience's desire to see the movie, and the title needs to thunder home that element of irony, hopefully in only 1 or 2 words. Puns do all of this. Heck, some of these stories only exist because of the pun. Next year, there's a movie coming out called Monster Trucks about trucks with monsters in them. So in other words, in your writing, embrace the pun. Use them for titles, characterization, foreshadowing, tragedy, and comedy. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe for more video essays on language and story. My name is Sage, and don't forget to leave a comment to let us know what your favorite pun is. Believe me, we truly appreciate it.